Airport will be closed for commercial flights. Hello, good evening. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of information from business, economic, and capital market sectors. And as the pandemic is still ongoing, we will also provide you the latest COVID-19 information. And please stay safe by taking some simple precautions, such as physical distancing, wearing a face mask, and avoiding crowds, cleaning your hands, and having less mobility. With me, Wicky Adrian, this is Market Headlines. Director General of Hajj and Umrah at the Ministry of Religious Affairs has said that the negotiations on the departure of prospective Indonesian Umrah pilgrims with Saudi Arabia are still on. The negotiations also include a vaccine booster requirement for every Umrah pilgrim.
The negotiations on the departure of prospective Indonesian Umrah pilgrims with Saudi Arabia are still on. An official from the Ministry of Religious Affairs has said. The Ministry of Religious Affairs has also continued to prepare technical matters related to the departure of Umrah pilgrims, he added. Moreover, amid the pandemic, technical matters for Umrah must be prepared carefully. The Ministry is coordinating with Soekarno-Hatta Airport authorities regarding the departure of the pilgrims from a single gate. It also held a meeting with the Ministry of Health's Data and Information Center regarding the technical integration of the Cisco Patu and Peduli Lindungi applications to provide access to vaccine certificates for Umrah pilgrims. Meanwhile, regarding the requirement for a booster vaccine for prospective Indonesian pilgrims, Latif affirmed that the government has continued to lobby the Saudi Arabian authorities to cancel the requirement. IDX Channel reports.
Head of the Central Statistic Agency, Margo Yuwono, stated that until August 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic had an impact on 21.32 working-age population in Indonesia. However, he said this was lower than August 2020, which even reached 29 million people.
Head of the Central Statistic Agency, Margo Yuwono, said that until August 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic affected 21.32 million people in Indonesia who are working-age residents. However, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on productive age is not as severe as in the last August 2020 period, when COVID-19 caused 29.12 million people.
Kita lihat perkembangannya di Agustus 2020 ke Agustus 2021 ya. Penduduk usia kerja yang terdampak karena COVID-19 di bulan Agustus itu tercatat 29,12 juta orang. Kemudian dengan cara yang sama kita hitung di Agustus 2021 ya, penduduk usia kerja yang terdampak COVID-19 itu hanya 21,32 juta orang. Artinya bahwa dampak COVID ini kepada penduduk usia kerja itu lebih berat di Agustus 2020 ya.
In detail, the working age population affected by COVID-19 consists of 1.82 million unemployed due to COVID-19. This number is better than August 2020, which reached 2.56 million people. Then the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on non-workforces reached 700,000 people. Then for workers who experienced a reduction in working hours due to COVID-19, as many as 17.41 million people. IDX Channel reports.
During a visit to the United Arab Emirates, the Minister of Investment, Bahlil Lahadalia, signed a memorandum of understanding with Air Products and Chemicals. The investment MOU worth $15 billion or equivalent to 210 trillion rupiah is carried out in the coal gasification industry and derivatives. Bahlil said that the investment was aimed at encouraging downstreaming of natural resources and increasing import substitution. Bahlil explained that in the agreement, Air Products and Chemicals will cooperate with SOEs and national entrepreneurs in several locations, where the realization will begin in early 2022. Chairman of and CEO of Air Products and Chemical, Sefi Gassemi, expressed his joy at the signing of a memorandum of understanding that provide motivation to immediately realize investment in Indonesia. Meantime, for information, Air Products and Chemicals is a major American gas processing and chemical company that develops, builds, owns, and operates some of the largest industrial gas projects in the world. Moving on to global update, China's exports rose by a better than expected clip in October, with demand strengthening in some key markets. Meanwhile, FC Barcelona have named former midfielder and captain Xavi Hernandez as head coach on a contract until 2024. More stories on today's International Minute.
A U.S. appeals court has temporarily blocked President Joe Biden's plans for a vaccine mandate for businesses. The law would require workers at private companies with more than 100 employees to get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 or be tested weekly. But the court found grave statutory and constitutional issues with the rule, set to be introduced in January. Heavy rain has caused several flash flooding in Bosnia and Herzegovina, prompting evacuations, causing power outage in most of the capital, closing a key facility for oxygen used for COVID-19 patients, and submerging roads in some parts of the Balkan country. The only certified medicinal oxygen filling plant in Bosnia, part of Germany's Messer Group, was among workplaces and homes in the suburbs of Sarajevo that had to be evacuated after being overrun by fast-moving floodwater on Friday. China's exports rose by a better-than-expected clip in October, official data showed, with demand strengthening in some key markets such as the United States and COVID numbers easing overseas. The data from the world's second-largest economy also suggested that China's factories had kept the goods flowing out despite power outage in recent months. Exports rose a better-than-expected 27.1% to $300.2 billion. Imports came in slightly below analyst estimates, rising 20.6%. Football club Barcelona have named former midfielder and captain Xavi Hernandez as head coach on a contract until 2024, following the sacking of Ronald Koeman. The La Liga club received the green light on Friday to sign the 41-year-old after they paid the release clause in his contract with Qatari side Al Sadd. Xavi played for Barcelona for 17 years, making 767 appearances and winning 25 trophies, including 4 Champions League wins and 8 league titles. IDX Channel reports.
Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Kini, aplikasi mClears hadir di handphone Anda untuk memudahkan transaksi Anda. Informasi aktivitas clearing dan penjaminan tidak lagi hanya dapat diakses melalui komputer di kantor Anda, melainkan dapat diakses di mana saja dan kapan saja dalam genggaman Anda. Fitur-fitur mClears. Equity clearing dan settlement adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi kewajiban settlement anggota clearing hingga nilai alternate ke settlement serta informasi gagal bayar. Risk management adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi trading limit, kolateral, MKBD, portofolio harian, risk charge anggota clearing dan kombinasi, serta nilai minimum cash collateral. Derivatif adalah fitur di mana Anda dapat melihat posisi trading limit, margin call, dan informasi clearing derivatif. Terkait pinjam-meminjam efek, terdapat fitur mengenai borrowing information dan lendable pool information, serta lending revenue dan borrowing fee. Serta menu lain yang menampilkan informasi mengenai haircut, risk charge saham, dan nilai harga penyelesaian harian dan harga penyelesaian final. Selain itu, Anda juga dapat mengakses fitur pengumuman, peraturan, dan informasi layanan KPEI pada aplikasi mClears. Download aplikasi mClears di App Store atau Google Play Store. Lakukan registrasi user Anda dengan menggunakan alamat email berdomain resmi yang sesuai dengan anggota clearing Anda. Setelah registrasi, Anda akan diberikan kode OTP di email Anda untuk verifikasi, dan aplikasi mClears Anda siap untuk digunakan. Anda dapat mengakses seluruh menu pada aplikasi mClears dengan melakukan aktivasi berlangganan premium yang dapat dilakukan dengan memilih menu Get Premium. Download aplikasinya sekarang, lakukan registrasi, dan dapatkan kemudahan dalam genggaman tangan Anda. Kemudahan informasi KPEI dalam genggaman Anda.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Cooperatives and SME reported that the realization of People's Business Credit for MSME had reached 237 trillion rupiah. This figure is equivalent to 83% of this year's distribution target of 285 trillion rupiah.
The Ministry of Cooperatives and SMEs reported that the realization of People's Business Credit for MSMEs until November 3rd has reached 237 trillion rupiah. This figure is equivalent to 83% of the distribution target of 285 trillion rupiah. The credit distribution is given to 6.28 million debtors. The distribution of People's Business Credit consists of super micro credit of 9 trillion rupiah, micro credit of 147.82 trillion rupiah, and small or special credit of 80.22 trillion rupiah.
Adapun realisasi penyaluran KUR sampai 2021 kemarin 3 November sudah mencapai kurang lebih 83%, yaitu sebesar 237 triliun ya, dan diberikan kepada hampir 6,3 juta debitur.
Edi say that in distributing People's Business Credit, the government had previously extended the provision of an additional 3% interest subsidy from January to December 2021, including providing an unsecured credit limit policy of up to 100 million rupiah. From Jakarta, Ade Firmansyah for IDX Channel.
INDEF said that economic growth in the third quarter of 2021 was slowing and only grew by 3.51% as a result of depressed public and government consumption. INDEF's Executive Director Tauhid Ahmad said that Indonesia's economic growth in the third quarter, which only recorded 3.51%, was beyond the government's expectations. The government's projection that economic growth will reach 4%, in fact, had to be recorded by the second wave of COVID-19. He said that the main reason for the weakening of economic growth was the suppression of public and government consumption. In addition, from the investment side, growth slowed.
Kita mengalami tekanan yang luar biasa dari konsumsi rumah tangga, konsumsi luar negeri, PRT ya, kemudian juga ada konsumsi pemerintah yang hanya 0,66% begitu. Padahal kalau kita lihat tiga komponen ini sudah menyumbang lebih dari 62 atau 63% dalam distribusi.
The Bank of Indonesia Liquidity Assistance Task Force confiscated the assets of Timor Putra Nasional owned by Tommy Soeharto in Karawang. The coordinating minister for Political, Legal, and Security Affairs ensured that there will be no more negotiations for BLBI obligors or debtors.
The government has again confiscated the assets of Bank Indonesia Liquidity Assistance obligors in an effort to fulfill the state's rights to BLBI receivables worth 2.6 trillion rupiah. Coordinating Minister for Political, Legal and Security Affairs, Mahfud MD, explained that the confiscated assets were 124 hectares of land that Tommy Soeharto used to guarantee to the state. However, the government found that there were still assets being leased, so the government firmly stated that there would be no more negotiations with BLBI obligors.
Di dalam rapat-rapat itu kita bertanya, kenapa sih ini kok lama sekali? Lalu ada catatan, memang setiap ganti pejabat, setiap ganti menteri, ganti dirjen, gitu, selalu ada upaya dari obligor dan debitur tuh nego ke pemerintah, mengaku tidak punya utang lah, ingin membayar, ingin menghitung kembali lah, sehingga tertunda-tunda sampai saat ini. Nah, oleh sebab itu, ini udah 22 tahun kan, nggak boleh begitu lagi, mari kita selesaikan sekarang. Nggak ada nego lagi sekarang. Datang aja ke kantor, jelaskan kalau punya bukti sudah lunas.
Mahfud reminded other BLBI obligors who have not paid off their debts to immediately come to the BLBI Tax Force office because the state has proof of the funds they received from BLBI disbursements 22 years ago. Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
The Ministry of Transportation confirmed that Halim Perdana Kusuma Airport will be closed gradually for commercial flights. Halim Airport's closure will take effect this November for the next 9 months. Later, regular commercial flights will switch entirely to Soekarno-Hatta Airport, according to the Director General of Civil Aviation at the Ministry of Transportation, Novi Rianto, stated that the closure of Halim Airport was carried out for the implementation of revitalization, especially runway repairs. Novi said that the government planned to close Halim Airport because of the quality of the infrastructure was not feasible and needed revitalization. Improvements are needed to improve the flight safety factor at Halim Airport. He added that the ministry was making designs for revitalization, which included runway reconstruction and repair of the drainage system. Market headlines will be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
Hai Sobat Investor, kalian ingin tetap bisa menabung meskipun keadaan keuangan kalian sedang sulit? Dengerin tips berikut ini ya. Kita masuk ke tips yang pertama ya. Nah, yang pertama, kalian harus memenuhi semua kebutuhan rutin kalian terlebih dahulu nih. Barulah setelah itu kalian bisa mengalokasikan pendapatan kalian untuk memenuhi kebutuhan pelengkap lainnya. Kita masuk ke tips yang kedua ya Sobat Investor. Jadi penting sekali bagi kalian untuk menutup hutang sesuai dengan kemampuan kalian. Selain itu, kalian juga perlu menentukan utang mana yang harus kalian dahulukan untuk dilunasi. Selain itu, penting juga untuk selalu menyesuaikan dengan uang tunai yang kalian miliki. Tips selanjutnya yaitu tips yang ketiga. Jadi kalian penting sekali untuk menekan biaya bulanan nih Sobat Investor. Jadi kalian juga memang harus memangkas kebutuhan yang memang sifatnya hanya pelengkap saja. Dan penting sekali bagi kalian untuk mempertahankan biaya bulanan yang sifatnya memang untuk kebutuhan utama kalian. Tips yang keempat terkait dengan pengelolaan aset. Jadi jika ternyata penghasilan yang kalian miliki ini tidak bisa menutup kebutuhan kalian, maka kalian bisa mempertimbangkan untuk menjual aset yang kalian miliki. Tips yang kelima, jangan lupa sisihkan sekitar 10% dari penghasilan kalian untuk ditabung di tiap bulannya. Dan saat keadaan keuangan kalian sedang sulit, tidak menjadi alasan untuk gagal mencapai impian. Jangan lupa ya, harus selalu rajin dan juga disiplin dalam menabung Sobat Investor.
Dilihat dari sektor UMKM nampaknya sudah mulai terasa itu, Mas.
Ya, kalau kita lihat dari indikator kredit ya untuk UMKM, ini memang sudah menunjukkan bahwa ekonomi UMKM mulai
kerja trading untuk membantu kita mencapai tujuan hidup.
Jadi PT Paragon itu kan memang masih sebuah private company, gitu.
Tetap ada responsibility, saya setuju tadi.
Mendevelop tim, ya kan, what can I help you, empower gitu kan, gimana supaya prosesnya lebih efektif,
lebih bisa berkembang lagi, punya.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Conversation Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut.